I talked to Manny on the phone, and he wants to fight one more time.
He wants to fight one more time?
He does. This kid can fight because he had speed and he had power. And it's very, very hard to get those two together.
At that size.
They thought it was over, that the final bell had already rung on one of boxing's greatest stories, a man who once made giants look small, who sent legends crumble with a flurry of fists and footwork that defied logic, was done after his 2021 loss to your Dennis Yugas Manny Pacquiao stepped out of the ring and into politics, leaving fans with memories instead of expectations, but now in a twist worthy of its own documentary. He's back at 46 with knees that have seen 1,000 rounds and hands. Still wrapped in destiny, why return when everyone says it's too late? Why chase a dream most would say is already past? Because one man believes a fire never left Freddie Roach, the Hall of Fame trainer, the soft-spoken architect behind some of boxing's most electric nights, has seen Pacquiao's punches land in ways even science couldn't explain. And now is watching him again with the same calm confidence in his voice. Manny can beat Mario Barrios, not survive him, not go the distance, beat him. And if Freddie Roach says it, history tells us we should. Music. Listen, this isn't just a comeback story, it's a reckoning, a legend pushing against the weight of time, against logic, against everything we come to accept about aging fighters. And Roach is holding the door open for one more war, because in his mind, Manny Pacquiao didn't stop being great, he just took a break. It started with whispers, a few seconds of blurry mid-work leaked online. Then a clearer shot Manny Pacquiao in full gear. Shadow boxing at wildcard, no formal announcement, no press release, just motion speed, that unmistakable rhythm, and suddenly boxing fans who had long moved on were glued to their screens, whispering the same question. Is he coming back? Pacquiao hadn't fought in years. He'd become a senator, a philanthropist, a living statue. Most figured he'd spend his later years shaking hands, not throwing them. The Yugas loss felt like the final chapter, not because he looked bad, but because he looked tired. But the thing about warriors, they don't retire because they are tired, they stop when there's nothing left to fight for. Now there's something Mario Barrios, tall, strong, young, dangerous, a name rising in the welterweight ranks after dominating Yugas, yes, the same Yugas who beat Manny. And that's where the story twists, that when put Barrios on a map, he didn't ask for one. Roach and Pacquiao intend to redraw. The media questioned everything. Why would Manny do this at 46? Is this desperation, ego? But Roach never won for drama. Shut it down with a single line. He's not doing this for money, he's doing this because he knows he can win. That's not blind loyalty, that's 20 years in the trenches. Roach has seen Pacquiao through wars that would have broken others, from Barrera to Marquez to Thurman. He's been there when the world doubted, and every time Manny proved them wrong. This isn't a midlife crisis, it's unfinished business. And Roach, with that same quiet fire in his voice, is betting it all on the man who built his name. Throwing fists so fast the cameras could barely keep up. Barrios, maybe younger, taller, fresher, but is about to walk into something he's never faced before. Not just a fighter, not just a legend, but a storm that doesn't know how to quit. If Manny Pacquiao is the fire, Freddie Roach is the match that lit it. Their story isn't just about trainer and fighter, it's about belief. Roach is Parkinson's. He shakes when he talks, sometimes softly, sometimes not at all, but when he steps into the ring, pads on, everything stills. That's not medicine, that's purpose. Before he was in Manny's corner, Roach was just another fighter with bad hands. And worse luck, he fought tough but not smart. And when the lights faded, he stayed in the sport because he had nowhere else to go. That's where wildcard Jim came from. Four walls, sweat-soaked mats, and a stubbornness that wouldn't die. Then one day and walked a shy, wiry kid from the Philippines, barely spoke English. But when he hit the mitts, Roach felt it in his bones. Lightning, music. He'd seen fighters, but this was different. Over 2 decades later, Roach still watches Pacquiao with the same focus. And that's why people listen when he talks, because Freddie doesn't lie. He's told Manny not to fight before. He's walked fighters into retirement when their legs were gone and their reflexes dull, but not this time, not with Manny. He isn't saying maybe, he's saying can, as in he can beat Barrios. Is sharp, is strong, and is smarter now than is ever been. That last part is key, because Roach isn't counting on Manny to out-youth Barrios. He's counting on him to outthink him. This isn't the same Pacquiao who brawled with reckless abandon. This is the evolved version, still fast, still unorthodox, but now calculated. And behind that calculation is Roach, meticulous, ruthless, honest. When others see 46, Roach sees 12 rounds of data angle patterns. He sees how Barrios dips his left after the hook, how he retreats in straight lines. He sees not just a path to victory, but a blueprint already in motion. Because for Roach, this fight isn't just one more payday, it's a final movement in a symphony he's been composing for over 20 years, a final crescendo, and he thinks it ends with Barrios on the canvas. Mario Barrios is not a soft target, is not a setup, is not some handpicked stepping stone to make a legend look good on his way out. He's the real deal, young, tall, durable, and mean in the clinch at 5 feet 10 inches. With a 71 inches reach, is a natural welterweight who walks opponents Down with quiet confidence, he beat Yordenis Ugas convincingly, and that alone puts him on the radar as a major threat. But here's the twist: beating Ugas doesn't mean you're ready for Pacquiao, especially not the kind of Pacquiao that's still trained by Freddie Roach, because Roach doesn't see Barrios as a mountain, he sees him as a maze, and mazes can be...
Huge right hand. The jab. See this?
Barrios is disciplined but not unpredictable. He relies on rhythm. His jab, while solid, comes from the same angle every time. His bodywork is aggressive but telegraphed. Roach calls it methodical, which in Freddie speak is code for exploitable. He's got the tools, sure, but Roach's eyes are on the gaps. His feet don't catch up to his hands. Roach says he throws but is flat. When he resets, Manny thrives on that. And it's true, watch enough Barrios tape and you'll notice it is great moving forward, but when forced to pivot or fight off the back foot, his timing gets shaky. That's a red flag against a fighter who lives on sharp angles and quick entries like Pacquiao. And there's something else: Barrios has never been in the ring with someone who moves like Manny, not just speed, chaos, controlled, intelligent chaos. Most fighters get flustered when they can't find their target. Barrios, he tightens up, he turns.
Punches landed. Very close.
That's a real danger. Barrios is walking into a fight where the rhythm he depends on will be torn apart by movement. He's never prepared for. Roach knows it, Manny knows it. And if Barrios doesn't adapt mid-fight, something he's never had to do at this level, he won't survive the storm. He'll drown in it. At 46, you don't train harder, you train smarter. That's a gospel Freddie Roach has been preaching in the quiet corners of Wild Card. Gone are the days of sparring 8 rounds with 3 different partners. Back to back now, every minute counts, every punch has a purpose, and every session ends not with exhaustion, but with calculation. Manny used to be the gym's chaos engine, blitzing through heavy bag shadow boxing like his life depended on it, doubling up on road work just to feel tired. But this camp is different. The fire is still there, but it's focused, sharp, and refined. Roach designed this camp with surgical precision, not to chase what Manny was, but to extract what still, music, remains Roach's mantra. This time around is no wasted movement. Every punch thrown in camp is reviewed, every session is documented. There are less rounds, but more film, less damage, but more depth. Manny no longer trains to break his body, he trains to preserve it and sharpen the tools he'll need for just 36 minutes in the ring. Even recovery is tactical, cryotherapy sessions, nutrition tailored down to the molecule, reflex drills with LED lights instead of just sparring. Roach's team includes a movement coach, now someone who studies how Pacquiao steps, rotates, even breathes between exchanges, because when time isn't on your side, science has to be. People forget Roach said Manny was a volume puncher, but he was never reckless. He always had IQ. We're just leaning on that now more than ever: music. And that's the terrifying part for any opponent who thinks his version of Pacquiao is slower. He may be a step off, but is now thinking 2 steps ahead. This isn't a faded champ gasping for one last payday. This is a fighter still sculpting his final masterpiece. Roach isn't rebuilding Manny, he's revealing what never left of Barrios as nightmares. There won't be of knockouts, there'll be of things he can't see, of punches that appear from below his chin or around his temple, of feet that are never where they were a second ago, of a man half his size making the ring feel like a trap. That's what it's like to fight Manny Pacquiao. Freddie Roach has always said it's not just speed, it's unpredictable speed. Pacquiao doesn't throw 1, 2 combos, he throws 5, 7, 10 from angles that don't make sense, while moving, while slipping, while smiling. Barrios is orthodox, structured, and built on rhythm. He likes his jab, he likes his distance, but that's exactly the kind of fighter Pacquiao has eaten alive over the years. Ask De La Hoya, ask Cardu, ask Thurman, tall, strong guys who blinked and found themselves on the ropes with a left hand detonating somewhere near their cheekbone.
Oh, down goes Thurman! And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch, and Manny Pacquiao moved in with his legs.
Roach sees a pattern. Barrios backs out straight. That's death against a southpaw like Manny, he says, and is right. The worst thing you can do against Pacquiao is retreat in a line, because he follows like a shadow and he punches while moving forward. And Barrios has never fought a southpaw with this kind of engine. His sparred lefties fought a few, but none who blur the lines between offense and movement like Pacquiao. Roach calls it the slingshot. Manny draws you and then launches forward at an angle just off center enough to be invisible until it's too late. It's not about raw speed anymore, it's about deception. Manny uses feints like grenades. His feet are weapons. He'll dart in fire 3, then step out sideways, leaving Barrios swinging at air and resetting his feet like a
and caught Thurman backing up. Thurman thought he could back up quick enough, but he wasn't quick enough to get it out of the reach of that punch.
Barrios can hit, he can pressure, but when he tries to corner the ghost, he'll find himself reaching, swinging, missing, because Manny's greatest weapon has never been his fist, it's been his ability to disappear and reappear where you're most vulnerable. And Roach knows even now that part of Pacquiao never age a day. The calendar says 46, the tape says otherwise. You can age a body, but you can't age instincts, not when they're wired into your bones. And if there's one thing Roach keeps repeating, like gospel, it says Barrios doesn't just have to fight Manny's body, he has to outthink his brain. That's where most people get it wrong. They see Pacquiao's speed as Flores' energy, and they assume his chaos. But chaos doesn't win 8 world title strategy, does intelligence does. And now more than ever, Roach is unleashing that side of Manny. Is not going in to outslug Barrios, is going in to outwit him.